live now. So
here we are.
Phillip Lorren is on the left of your screen playing the Merfolk deck. That is Ryan Rolen on the right with Rug.
Just to run through the rest of the top 8 real fast.
A lot of alliteration there. Ryan Rolen with Rug.
Did that on purpose, clearly. Just to run through the rest of the top 8 real fast. So before the match starts, we have No Rug versus Blue White Stoneforge, Esper Blade versus Dredge, which we haven't really heard anything about all day. Maybe the hate's gone. Maybe it's time to play Dredge. And then Zoo versus Blue Black Merfolk.
I actually, when I was away from the booth for a little bit, I had a chance to walk by and watch Jerry Thompson playing. This actually may have been his opponent in one of those rounds. I didn't actually catch the player's name, but he lost to a Dredge deck while he was still in contention. And Jerry, didn't have Leyline of the Void. A lot of people don't have Leyline of the Void. Right. A lot of people don't have any copies of Tormod's Crypt. Even we look at looking at Ryan Roland's deck here. He has absolutely no graveyard hate with the exception of Surgical Extraction, which is not really what you want to be doing against Dredge. You want to have things that actually rip their whole graveyard open.
Right. And I mean, I played a lot of Dredge, and you really have to have enough hate too. Like, you can't rely on one card to do it too. If you just have 2 Surgical Extractions, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean,
and here we go. Game has started. Ryan Roland, turn 1 Misty Rainforest. Phillip, no turn 1 play.
So Merfolk is in this matchup. I think Phillip Lorren really wants to see Aether Vial here. He's playing against a deck that has a lot of ways to attack his creature development, and has counter magic. And having access to Aether Vial would greatly improve his ability to actually get those creatures down. So Phillip Lorren plays Silver Girl Adept, revealing Coral Helm Commander, a very shiny Coral Helm Commander. And that resolves. So Phillip Lorren draws a card, passes the turn back. Ryan Roland seems to maybe be having mana trouble. He played a Wasteland as a second land, though perhaps he's trying to protect his colored mana from his opponent's Wasteland.
Right, it's always certainly an option.
He plays a Tropical Island, and I'm guessing he's going to have something to do this turn.
There's
Tarmogoyf. That is, in fact, the loneliest of Tarmogoyfs. He's currently 0-1, though at any moment he can become 1-2 thanks to Misty Rainforest.
Unless they cast Wipe Away, in which case, that's all I'm saying.
Not any moment. Just most all possible realistic moments.
Phillip Lorren untaps, and I think that Ryan really needs to have a lot of mana here. Tarmogoyf start just isn't going to do it, especially considering he's a blue deck and Phillip has access to Lord of Atlantis.
Yeah, Lord of Atlantis is a big deal here. Ryan Roland, however, has Lightning Bolt and the aforementioned Grim Lavamancer that can deal with a lot of the lords.
There's the evil F&M Marrow Regery. Comes down. Shadowmoor take on the Lorwyn card.
So
and cast it and then ships it back to Ryan. Ryan's going to crack his fetch land. We'll see if he has a bolt here for the Regery.
I'm not sure if I would bolt here, just because I would want to be able to play around Daze.
Right, that's very true. You don't want to get dazed here. Daze would be disastrous. I think one of the big stories from this tournament actually is how Merfolk has kind of risen up. It went away for a while. A lot of people said it was just, it just wasn't a good deck to play anymore. Batterskull really hurt the Merfolk decks a lot. But we have 2 in the top 8
and
here.
He is Lightning Bolting, and he is getting Misstep, not Dazed. So that's that at least he was able to use his mana at the end of Phillip's turn and not get punished for it.
There's a Jace off the top of Ryan Roland.
Jace is a pretty powerful card in this and any matchup.
Jace is an alright card, I guess. Sometimes
it's not at his best here, where Phillip has a lot of ways to pressure it. Though Ryan does have that Tarmogoyf back that can hold the fort. Doesn't look like Ryan has the 4th land to actually play Jace. Can't really see too much of what he has going on there. Looks like
they're going to
brainstorm.
The thing about these legacy decks is they're all so light on land. They all play cards like Brainstorms and ways to shuffle and cantrip and so on. But at the end of the day, they really are just playing 22 lands in their control decks, and it's easy to get mana screwed and not be able to hit your 4-drop on time.
So Brainstorm followed up. Looks like Ryan Roland touching his Volcanic Island here.
Tarmogoyf facing down a Merfolk army. Tarmogoyf steadily growing, currently a 2/3.
I believe it actually may even be a 3/4. There's a creature. Yeah, there's creature instant land, right? Or is there, no, creature never died. Yeah, it's still 2/3.
Yep, 2/3. All right, goes for
And Dismember. So Ryan Rolen playing the ubiquitous black removal spell from New Phyrexia, or only sort of black.
Yeah. Someone called that one a mistake, and we see it all the way back here in Legacy.
Yeah, that is, so and that gets Force of Willed.
All right.
Removing
Core Home Commander, I think?
that commander.
Yep.
Interesting.
Now, it's interesting. Gabe Longcount on Twitter has said that he's actually played a deck like this Rug deck before, and Core Home Commander is actually a very important card in the matchup. 4 toughness is a lot of toughness that I have to get through,
right?
And the flying is very relevant. We'll see if that's something to watch as the game progresses. I mean, Phillip choosing to remove his Core Home Commander here, however.
All right, Wasteland takes out Mutavault. Interesting. So Ryan does not play land of his own, but chooses to use his Wasteland on Phillip's land when he himself has copies of Jace the Mind Sculptor in his hand.
Right. I mean, I think that means he wants to be aggressive, but the problem is that's not an aggressive. Like, he can't be aggressive right now.
Kira is a serious game here.
Yes, that Kira is a big problem for Ryan Rolen. So turns off his lightning bolts.
So Kira makes, for those of you who don't know, Kira is a creature. It's a 2/2 flyer that counters the first spell or ability that targets any creature you control. So Ryan Rolen would need to use 2 removal spells or an activation of Lavamancer and or an activation of Jace prior to using a removal spell in order to actually remove a creature.
Right. I mean, that's so many resources for Ryan Rolen to spend on doing one thing. Kira is not a merfolk. It is a spirit, so it's not going to get pumped by Reader or anything like that. But it is just so good at protecting cards in that deck.
The merfolk decks are really critical mass decks. They're really decks that are about assembling a certain number of the Lord effects with your otherwise relatively unimpressive creatures. Kira's job in the deck is to protect those Lords from removal, so your creatures remain impressive and don't return to their previous states.
And there is Core Home Commander from Phillip Lorren. That's a card to watch. Yeah, so the Merfolk is very much a tribal linear deck, and if it just has one creature in play, it's usually not too threatening. But it's easy for it to just snowball with Aether Vial, and you play Readry on maybe untap your lands, play Gaia again, and
you can just start getting ahead very quickly.
Yeah. Plus, you just have like card advantage in your creature. Silvergill Adept, cantrips. When it comes into play, for example, that's a huge one.
Well, one thing we were talking about earlier today was how powerful the Merfolk decks, low land count and utility lands, along with the cantripping of Silver Adept and such are. It's very difficult to fight Merfolk if you're trading 1-for-1, because Merfolk has a low land count and has effective card drawing with Silver Adept. Some of the versions play standstill, though that's sort of fallen out of favor. So if you're just looking to kill your guy, the Merfolk deck is very easily going to pull ahead because they're able to deploy more creatures than you can actually remove. So that Kira is promising to be a serious problem, and it's joined by a Core Hub Commander, which, as we're told via Twitter, is another of the big problems for the Rug deck. Yeah, so this game is not looking good for Ryan Rolen.
Yeah, it's really not. Ryan has nothing going on right now, and Phillip has quite a heavy board presence, plus Akira.
Right, he has Merfolk Readry, which will give him the ability to attack through the Tarmogoyf. Ryan Rolen has to use his Vendilion Click on himself to get rid of his uncastable Jace. And Jace really isn't very impressive right now anyway. Right. Phillip has so many creatures.
And trades the click with the Silvergill Adept.
So Phillip Lorren chooses not to attack with Kira and plays around that.
Wisely so, yeah. That didn't want to get it eaten by Vendilion Click. Click is just such a tricky card. They have it.
I mean, back in Lorren Block Constructed, or in the Constructed season when Fairies was so popular, it was just so hard to play against the combinations of Vendilion Click and Mistbind Click and Cryptic Command. There's so many possible things that could come out of nowhere.
Right, you cast a creature before combat, you get Cryptic Command cast it after.
You attack
in
first,
combat,
you get Mistbind Click to lose all your mana and lose your creature.
Or you get Vendilion Click to take card out of your hand and block you.
It's very, very difficult and very frustrating deck to play against. And is Ryan Rolen going on the beatdown plan?
Time to brawl. I mean, I guess Readry is in play. They're counting up how big Tarmogoyf is right now. We'll get a count on that in a second. I think they have instant, land, creature. Have there been any sorceries?
I don't even know if there are much of those sorceries in either of these decks. There's Ancestral Visions and Life from the Loam in Ryan Rolen's deck. I don't think Merfolk has any sorceries in it, so we haven't seen a Visions or Loam. Yeah, so it's currently a 3/4.
3/4. Okay. There's a Lord of Atlantis from Phillip Lorren.
So Lord of Atlantis is a serious problem. Everything's getting through if that hits the table.
Taps the Tarmogoyf, and Phillip's gonna be able to crunch in for. Oh, he's gonna force.
Force of Wills with his remaining card in hand, which is Jace. He goes down to 10 life with no blockers. So, regardless of the fact that Lord of Atlantis didn't hit the table, he's still in serious trouble.
Yeah, that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 8 damage?
Looks like lethal to me. So, and it is.
Yeah,
so
Ryan
Rolen agrees and packs up his cards. So Phillip Lorren wins the first game of the match. Phillip, who, as we said, fell just short yesterday and had a 9th place finish in the Standard Open with his Grixis Tezzeret. He has surged back today on the back of Merfolk. And
all right, and now we're gonna see if you can be a winner too. In addition to these people playing Magic in front of you right now, obviously very skilled players, and you don't have to be quite as skilled to win 3 months of Stars to Games Premium, which will teach you how to be more skilled. So you can be sitting here right now. In the top 8 today, we're going to give away 3 months of Stars to Games Premium in the quarterfinals, 6 months in the semifinals, and then a whole year in the finals. Very simple. All you have to do is we're going to ask a trivia question. On Twitter, you're going to reply with the hashtag SCG Premium, which is one person from everyone who enters and answers correctly. That person is going to win 3 months of Stars to Games Premium. Here's the question. Who won the Standard Open? Happened earlier today. Who won the Standard Open, and what archetype were they playing? Tell us on Twitter. Use the hashtag SCG Premium,
and you can be a winner.
You can be a winner. And I'll give you a hint. You can find all the information on tournaments that have happened on Open Series on StarCityGames.com. You can see deck tax,
probably like
standings.
Above or below the video you're watching right now.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty easy to find. So
yeah.
Go find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Be a winner. I haven't won anything today. I want to win something.
Everyone wants to be a winner.
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner.
I haven't even played any Magic Online matches to win today. I did win some yesterday.
Yeah, we tried to play some Magic Online earlier, and like Magic Online took forever to load. It was bugging out on us, so we didn't get to counter any cats. Also, Legacy, normally a pretty fast format. All of our matches have gone to time. We have everything went but one round went to time.
We have seen a lot of players run into the end of round procedure, and I mean Legacy is a fast format in terms of the number of turns the games take, but with how much shuffling you see with brainstorms and fetch lands and all these different effects, it can definitely add a lot of time to the logistics that games take to play out.
And also, there's just a lot of decisions to make too. The turns may be fewer, but you're still brainstorming, having to put cards back,
right.
knowing when to send with your Tarmogoyfs, finding out how to figure out. Seeing what's in your opponent's hand with Delian Click, picking a card.
We were actually talking just yesterday when we were discussing the difficulty of playing aggressive decks. That just because an aggressive deck wins or loses quickly doesn't mean that it has less decisions involved than a control deck. Those decisions often are just more important because there are few of them and fewer turns in the game. So Legacy, there are lots of decisions even if the games end very, very quickly. So we're back to the match. Again, Phillip Lorren is on the left of your screen playing Merfolk. Ryan Rolen is on the right with Rug. Phillip Lorren has won the first game, so Ryan Rolen will be leading off in this game. So how do you think these players are going to sideboard? We have Ryan Rolen's deck right here. We actually
we're missing.
Do not have Phillip's deck at the moment.
But we'll start with Ryan Rolen.
Yeah.
Fire Spout. One Fire Spout comes in almost assuredly.
I think he might bring in Red Elemental.
There's a very good probability.
Possibility that he has that in mind for some of those Merfolks.
Single mana instant Vindicates. I get behind that.
Dismember.
Dismember.
Dismember. I think will also come in.
I think that's probably it.
The cards in his deck that I think are a little less impressive. Stifle, not a card that does much of anything in this matchup. Phillip Lorren doesn't even have fetch lands to be able to hit. He does have Wasteland, but Ryan Rolen has a reasonable number of basic lands he can use to protect his mana base from losing to Wasteland. So I think Stifle is a pretty clear cut. That's 3 cards. So to bring in 3 Elemental Blasts, 1 Dismember, and 1 Fire Spout, we have to cut 2 other cards. So probably maybe Life from the Loam.
Yeah, I think
Life from the Loam is a card that you generally want in in matchups with slower control decks, so you can take over the game with card advantage and recurring fetch lands and wastelands. And that's just not how the games against Merfolk go. You need to establish a board presence and kill their lords and kill them. You don't really want to try and go long against them. So I would cut the Life from the Loam.
How do you feel about cutting it with the third Jace?
I could definitely get on board with cutting one of the Jaces. Jace is, as we saw in that game, a very expensive spell to play against a deck that can potentially daze you, can potentially wasteland you, and just isn't nearly as board dominating as it is against decks that don't deploy nearly as many creatures.
All right, so turn 1, Mountain, Unhinged Mountain from Ryan Rolen.
That's an old school Mountain. I can get behind that. And Curse Catcher looks like it comes down for. Oh.
And we're gonna miss.
We will not have any curses caught. Is that a Curse Catcher?
That is a Curse Catcher. Gonna misstep that one.
So,
snaps it down.
While Curse Catcher isn't a hugely impactful card in the matchup in general, it is a card that can make the use of Mental Misstep difficult. So using Mental Misstep to counter your opponent's Curse Catcher means that you can still you don't have the difficulty of using that Mental Misstep in the future when that Curse Catcher is on the board.
So Phillip Lorren goes for turn 2 Lord of Atlantis. I see a Lightning Bolt in Ryan Rolen's hand. He can snap off on that if he wants to.
He also I also think I see a Red Elemental Blast.
He does have a red.
So Bolt. That creature is dead.
Lord is gone. Drew another misstep.
And Ryan Rolen has Mountain and Wasteland.
Definitely not the ones you want either. Mountain.
Yeah, those are not the most impressive. So that's going to have to get Red Blasted coming down.
Yeah.
So Kira,
counter it, please.
Counter spell. I will use the mode that will not get countered once Kira enters play. So that looks like Scalding Tarn. So Ryan Rolen has mana now. So he's going to go fetch. I would imagine the very good chance he's getting Tropical Island.
Yep, once his other two
fixes
colors.
Both of his colors.
Now, if he's really worried about Wasteland, he could just get Island, but I think he needs the green pretty badly.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, he does get Tropical Island. His hand looks like it's almost all blue cards. If he has a Tarmogoyf, he certainly wants to be able to cast the Tarmogoyf right now.
And the blue cards usually help find the Tarmogoyf.
That is true. They can certainly do that. But if he didn't have a Tarmogoyf, I could actually see just getting an island so you can be sure that you're going to have mana moving forward. Your opponent clearly knows that you're stalled on mana, and will attack your Tropical Island very quickly. So this looks like Goyf. So Goyf comes down. That is already a relatively large Goyf. I believe it's a 3/4.
Yep, instant creature land.
So Goyf does not get much bigger than 3/4 in this matchup unless a Jace manages to die. That's an Aether Vial, I believe.
Little late, though.
It's still good.
It's still very relevant. Not nearly as good on turn 1. Ryan Rolen goes for misstep, though.
Yeah. So Aether Vial is at its best on turn 1 when it can power out your creatures very quickly. Even later in the game, it gives you the ability to get your creatures down past counter magic. It's a little bit slow, but still has value. So Ryan Rolen respects that with his Mental Misstep. So wow, we just got Phillip Lorren's deck list, and I would not have guessed one of the cards in the sideboard. I would not have guessed that card got played in anything. I don't even know.
The one gut shot.
So Phillip Lorren has a gut shot in his sideboard.
Bang.
He's just gonna punch someone right in the gut. I wonder if he has it in his deck right now for Grim Lavamancer.
And Medallion Click.
And yeah, it's actually kind of an impressive card right here.
Not what you would expect, and that's probably why no one ever expects it.
It's much like the Spanish Inquisition of Kozilek.
It is no mental misstep, but still passable. Yeah. So looking at other cards you might have brought in, I don't think Phillip Lorren brought in very much for this matchup.
I mean, he has Submerge. Submerge is certainly a card that, and he just cast a Submerge, so he brought that in.
Yeah, I mean, Submerge is good. Other than that, I don't think maybe the one gut shot if that's what you're feeling like. So I don't think you want the Dismembers. You don't want to overload on removal too much.
Right. I mean, you definitely need to be proactive if you're Phillip. You don't want to have a bunch of cards that are responding to what your opponent's doing, especially when your opponent doesn't have really that many targets for these things. He has Tarmogoyf, he has Grim Lavamancer, he has Medallion Click.
And Jace is down for Ryan Rolen. And though we said maybe you want to board out a Jace, that Jace will start to run away with the game. Phillip doesn't look like he has any action. cracks Wasteland on Ryan's Wasteland and passes back to Ryan, and that Jace. Oh dear. Ryan
Jace
draws
is-
Ancient Grudge there.
Ancient Grudge,
Wants
really?
to beat Aether Vial that badly.
That's interesting. I would not have expected Aether Vial here, or rather Ancient Grudge here. And he keeps the Ancient Grudge when he fetches.
Really, man, you must really want to beat that Aether Vial. Huh.
So he fetches a basic forest. So he has all the basics but island, but a pair of tropicals. So if we looking at Phillip's Lorren's hand, what we can see there's definitely submerged there. I got a peek of that while he was picking up his hand, and we were just saying it's very important for Phillip to be able to keep his aggressive position in this matchup. He really doesn't want to be overloaded on reactive cards, or exactly this can happen.
Ryan Rolen casts Brainstorm.
So he's Brainstorm twice this turn, once courtesy of Blue Mana, once courtesy of Jace the Mind Sculptor.
I guess we'll Brainstorm twice. And let's see if we have.
And that looks like Lavamancer.
All right, Lava Man down. And then he's just going to pass his turn after that. And while Ryan doesn't look like he's doing a ton, that Lavamancer is huge for him. And the fact that he's got an active Jace is just steadily increasing.
I mean, he has a stranglehold.
That's a gut
That
shot,
is.
Oh man, that Lavamancer is so getting gut shot. Bang, bang, you're dead.
He just, wow, took one right in the gut.
Ryan Rolen is doing something, saying something probably hilarious.
I know. Yeah, the players both chuckling over the absurdity of the gut shot, but
There's no way. Like Phil's like someone was like you put this in there.
you're just gonna kill Grim Lavamancer. You really want to kill Grim Lavamancer. You don't want to dismember because dismember will do a bunch of damage to you. But you got to get rid of that Lavamancer, so you want to gut shot it, and that's exactly what we just saw.
Right in the gut.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Oh yes, everything's coming up gut shot. All right, so Ryan brainstorms again. This time it looks like he's going to put back that Ancient Grudge. Yeah, he puts the Ancient Grudge back, keeping a hand chock full of blue cards. Worst things you could have in Legacy.
Absolutely.
And it looks like Phillip Lorren's hand is Wasteland, Force of Will, another blue card he has to cast, maybe a Daze. Just wastes away the Tropical Island, but Ryan's going to be able to just continue his advantage with Jace.
Yeah, I mean, while he's attacking his mana base and dealing with Grim Lavamancer, the inevitability of Jace is unlike many cards in Magic.
And so Ryan Rolen just described this turn, sending the card straight to the bottom. He knew what it was due to Brainstorm.
So yeah, a lot of players actually will often just they want the extra card, but the value of loyalty counters on Jace is actually pretty high as well, especially when your opponent has cards like Mutavault in their deck, which you can't necessarily counter.
Just to clarify, Julian Knob asks on Twitter, what was the card Merfolk used to kill the Lavamancer?
It was
Gut
Shot, which is a 1 Phyrexian red mana instant, deal 1 damage to target creature or player.
Yeah. Not a card you see very often, but I know it's been talked about at many places against combo elves, against the Infect deck in Modern.
Oh, and we actually Gut Shot is another card that can kill a Peacekeeper. So not just Grim Lavamancer, Peacekeeper as well. So
that's actually a big one to kill. The Merfolk decks often have no answer. So
well, I mean, now that there's this member in the format, Merfolk decks are never really drawing dead against Peacekeeper.
All right, so Ryan Fate Seals Phillip.
So Ryan must feel pretty comfortable in his position if he's Fate Sealing the Merfolk deck. The Merfolk deck is so dense on threats that it's not like you can just Fate Seal them off anything that potentially win the game.
And yet he just continues to
and
pass
here he
the turn.
goes.
Ryan Fate Seals again. Looking at the card. Ooh, puts it back on top. Uh-oh. It's not good for Phillip Lorren. Putting the card back on top. And passes yet again. What is in Phillip Lorren's hand? Is it just all reactive cards?
I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know what cards. You take how many cards do you have? 4 or 5. Take a random selection of 4 or 5 cards in Phillip Lorren's deck, and there's a very good chance there's a Merfolk in there.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's just not playing Merfolk for some reason. Granted, Ryan Rolen has a handful of probably ways to kill it, but All right, down goes your
And there is
Lavamancer,
another
speaking of.
Lavamancer.
Perhaps Phillip's going to mental misstep that.
Hard cast a Force of Will, perhaps.
Hard cast Force of Will, sure. Whatever you got to do. Do what you got to do. Phillip goes for a misstep.
Nope, it's misstep. Ryan Rolen with a grip full of cards. Missteps right back.
Okay. So Ryan missteps, Phillip's misstep. And Lavamancer resolves. Okay, so Ryan Rolen really dominating board position here. Jace with a ton of counters, boatload of counters.
And a Lavamancer that is threatening to kill anything Phillip plays.
Not that he's been playing much of anything recently.
Yeah,
but
he's It looks like Force of Will. Is that Force of Will Island?
That is a force.
Is that a phantasmal image?
He's been waiting for a card to image.
That is a phantasmal image, I believe. So it looks like Force of Will, Submerge, phantasmal image. Maybe he's gonna image the Lavamancer. That doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that seems pretty miserable.
Submerge the Lavamancer.
I guess phantasmal image is not so exciting against Jace.
Curse Catcher.
All right, I accept your Curse Catcher.
Phantasmal image it.
Got to double up somehow.
That's just kind of embarrassing.
All right, he's
Submerge,
submerging the
okay.
Lavamancer. Ryan Rolen says it's all right. I'll put it back on top. Take another drop
Resolves.
And there's a phantasmal image.
And
It's gonna snare.
Spell Snare. Okay.
Doesn't want two Curse Catchers hanging out there.
I mean, I guess the second Curse Catcher is the one that gets you.
I think he just wants to make sure that his Jace can pick up without having to worry.
Right.
It's already on double-digit counters.
Yeah,
so-
it's definitely lethal very soon.
or double dice counters rather. I think this might be either 11 or 13. Let's see, put it on a third dice this turn, so it's probably lethal next turn.
Yeah, it's probably 13 counters this turn. And plays
Lavamancer.
Ram Lavamancer.
And if it's on 13 counters, then its ultimate is pretty much going to go off. I guess he could play a Lord and then submerge a Lavamancer.
He plays a Lord, he can Island Walk, but... Oh, and there it is. So,
Jace,
Phillip
you
Lorren
out.
facing his inevitable demise at the hands of the Mind Sculptor, concedes Game 2. So we're going to be going to Game 3 of Phillip Lorren versus Ryan Rolen here at the Star City Games Legacy Open in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a lot of Magic over the past couple days. 10 rounds yesterday, 601 players showing up for Standard. Insane. Absolutely insane.
I wonder what the net total Planeswalker points handed out in this tournament.
That'd be a fun statistic to
The
look at.
sum.
How many Planeswalker points? I mean, everyone's looking for those Planeswalker points. The announcement earlier in the week that the ELO system is going away.
So
it really makes people want to come out to these tournaments because there's no disincentive to losing now. In fact, if you play and lose every single round, you're still just up on points.
I mean, I still feel like there's a disincentive to losing. I don't want to lose. I want to win.
I mean,
you don't get penalized for losing, other than it just went dark here in the hall.
oh man, this is a little awkward.
Well, so I don't know. Are we still online here? Okay, well,
We are still
it is
online.
pitch black here. Oh, we got some
Hey.
light. Not really sure what happened there, but we lost light
would've
for a
been
second.
a-
We're actually still dark over here in the booth. You can sort
Well-
of see in the background behind Ryan Rolen.
It's okay. We got lights where it counts.
It's all dark and scary in here. Help!
I kind of like it being dark with you. It's fun. All right.
So the light seems to be slowly coming back on.
I'm not sure exactly what happened there.
That was
hey,
we're
we're
back
back.
and we're a little dim here.
Yes, exactly. Not
But,
dim sum. That's a good card.
Just kind of mentally is what I meant.
Oh, well, yeah. In all walks of life. So it looks like they're sideboarding over there.
In pitch darkness. So
Sideboarding in pitch dark. They're just keep fluctuating the lights.
now this is
This must be what it's like to be on Innistrad.
flip your werewolf.
Werewolf. Flip it over. Like it's like I cast
That was you went a little deep there. You have to admit you went a little deep with that one.
Should have gone for Lorren instead of Innistrad.
No.
Lorren has like the roar thing that switches from Shadowmoor to Lorren every 1,000 years.
You know much more about the Magic story than I do.
It's actually very true.
much more.
I have definitely won exactly one match in the history of my Magic career because I knew a lot about the storyline.
Okay, this is a story you have to tell. Even though you make it quick though, because we have some players about to play.
Right. So I was playing a JSS, and my opponent cast Dragon. You'd be very familiar with. It was a Dromar, I think. So not Rift,
Okay.
but Dromar, still a reasonable dragon.
The Banisher.
Dromar the Banisher, and
We hung out.
and like he was like, I don't understand why this card like does what it does or why it's this, and I like explained the storyline reasons for like why it existed and like what it did in the story. He was like, you know more about Magic than I do. I concede.
So you didn't. That's not really fair.
It's totally fair. He conceded because I knew more about.
I mean,
Magic
you
storyline.
could have also just made that up, and he would have been impressed anyway. If you made something up that was pretty clever.
I mean, but I mean, I can't make up stuff to put in the Magic novels. Okay, like that is difficult.
I suppose.
I used to actually read all the Magic novels up through Apocalypse, but I stopped after that. I haven't read one since Odyssey.
I read the first one.
So, some of the old ones are actually reasonable.
I was in 8th grade when it came out, I think, or 7th grade or something. Which is when I started playing Magic, which was 1994 or whatever.
But I think especially in the last year, they've done a really good job blending the story with the game. Scars and Mirror block is incredible.
Scars block and the look of Innistrad block, both of them, they managed to have the story and the gameplay mesh incredibly well. The story really drove the whole of Scars block. It wasn't just another artifact block.
Right.
It was a block that was about something.
Yeah.
And by the look of Innistrad, it's a very, very, very top-down set that is about creating an experience in a world, which seems awesome.
Yeah, I mean, with Scars and Mirrodin, never have I been like, I'm drafting this set with cards in my hand, and I can feel the story playing out in front of me as we move from New Phyrexia to, Scars and Mirrodin, Mirrodin Prestige,
Right.
through all those sets. You can see the different places you're in as all of those things are happening.
Compare.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and that's one of the things they were talking about in design. They used to design based around themes, be like, all right, well, this is the gold set, this is the tribal set, this is the artifact set, and now they're like, we're gonna build a story, we're gonna have a theme, there'll be artifact themed sets or whatever, but the story is really the focal point.
The mechanics will
here.
build from that.
And the mechanics will
if you
build from
compare,
that,
if you
yeah.
compare, say, the New Phyrexia block to Odyssey Torment Judgment. I mean, the Odyssey Torment Judgment was very much a mechanics. Here's the black set. Here's the green white set. And they're all sort of they sort of pulled from that, and the story supported it, but it wasn't really.
Not really.
You'd know better than I, but there was at least some story that was there that was the excuse for it. But that was what it was. It was the excuse, as opposed to the transformation of Mirrodin into New Phyrexia was what everything was about in the development of that block.
Right. I mean, I think to quote Aaron Forsyth on Twitter on this one, great quote. So Odyssey Torment Judgment was the graveyard block. So naturally, it was about a gigantic squid running around with a ball made of magic energy.
Of
course, it makes sense for the graveyard block. Where you see Innistrad, like it's very like, all right, stuff's in the graveyard here. It makes sense. There are graveyards,
Yeah.
Like vampires will eat you in the graveyard with a candlestick.
What?
Like a clue.
Oh.
You gotta use the item of murder.
I was like, eat you in a graveyard with a candlestick? That seems like a very strange
gotta-
utensil. Earlier today, when I was just actually grabbing food and we were off camera, I had to improvise utensils. We had the delivery didn't include a fork and knife, so we managed to find a knife from previous order. So I was eating my Chinese food and rice with just a knife.
The old stab method.
It was actually just impale this, try and sort of mix it around the rice a little. It gets on it, eat it.
I was gonna say, did you like? All right, booster pack. Let's do some commons to lift these.
We were discussing. It's like, all right, if I crack a pack, that'll be less dirty, less bacteria covered than say if I use that pen laying over there.
Yeah,
so I
exactly.
can stab my food. But anyway, we have a match of Magic here, not just stories about utensils.
I mean, Ryan Rolen still mulligan. So.
So is Ryan Rolen taking a 6-card hand or a 5-card hand?
I believe he's going to 6, but from the dejected look on his face, it might be 5.
He does not seem particularly happy. Phillip Lorren is got a
jubilant.
bit of a grin.
He's got the look of a man who's like, I know I'm not supposed to be happy when my opponent mulligans and I'm playing for top 4, but yeah, I'm pretty happy.
I mean, Chris Bakula, I think, said it best when he said, if you don't pump the fist when your opponent mulligans, you're a liar.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ryan Rolen going to 6 cards.
All right. And this is where Magic Online, some people might type 5 in the chat box. Not me, but other people might.
Paul Reitzel would do that. and does that against me all the time when we play. Probably only against me, though. Less against people he doesn't know.
Ryan Rolen looking at a 6. All right, he chooses to keep. Does Ryan Rolen remind you of Ephro at all?
A little bit. Maybe a little bit.
See it.
Did you see the Ephro transform card? Ephro winning, Ephro losing.
It's pretty appropriate, actually.
It absolutely is.
Matt Sperling had some hits there.
Yeah.
So Phillip Lorren leads with turn 1 Cursed Catcher. And we'll see what Ryan Rolen chooses to do. Turn 1, Misty Rainforest, cracked Misty Rainforest. We'll drop to 19. No Ravnica fetch lands to find, or dual lands to find here. This is Legacy. No namby-pamby, breeding pools and stuff.
Breeding pools are and such are serious business for the likes of men like Conley Woods, who are willing to take damage for their mana.
Old fetch crack take 2.
Yes.
I'm Conley Woods.
Fetch crack take 2. Spoils the vault, naming Necropotence. So anyway,
name Humpus Wumpus.
the point is you name Necropotence because that also makes you lose life, and you spoils the vault for it. When you have to explain the joke, jeez.
Killed it. All right, so turn 1, a cracks for Volcanic Island, does the whole magic of shuffling
here
thing.
is Grim Lavamancer.
Can't Curse Catcher that one. And there's no misstep.
Phillip Lorren does not misstep it.
Now,
so
does
he have the gut shot?
If he does, that'd be pretty.
That's so
insane! Gut
Boom!
shot!
Gut shot! Wow!
2 games in a row. Gut shot, legacy sideboard staple.
Wow! This is awesome. I mean, I'm not biased here or anything, but I'm biased against awesome things happening, like creatures getting killed by gut shot.
In the top 8 of a Star City Games Open, no less. All right, so gut shot happens on the Lavamancer, and Phillip Lorren has Silver Galadept, revealing, I think that's, Mara Reedry, FNM1. The gut shot is not foil. I think that's the only non-foil card we've seen.
I mean, a foil gut shot is hard to come by.
A good gut shot
it's in serious demand.
You can just tell it's like, he's like, man, we got 14 sideboard cards, they collected my deck list in, 2 minutes. I need to find another card.
Daze looks to be stopping that Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, Ryan
Rolen debating a Force of Will himself.
Nope. Right. Tarmogoyf goes down. And Phillip Lorren with only a Wasteland, or a Vishal Important play. Okay, plays an island.
Gets in there with...
What is that land?
Which land?
Is that a Wasteland Phillip Lorren's using? I thought it was Port, but he doesn't have it in his deck. So
I assume it's Wasteland. He has Wasteland and Mutavault. It might be Mutavault. So, an image creating another Silver Galadept.
Draw another card? Yes, I will. Thank you very much. And going to play... Volcanic Islands.
And another Goyf.
Tarmogoyf.
So Phillip Lorren debating a response to this, but it looks like Goyf is good.
Good place for Goyf to be. Man, that'll help block the Silver Galadept, stop the bleeding a little bit.
So yeah, Ryan Rolen needs to keep that Tarmogoyf around. It's really the only thing standing between an angry horde of Moorfolk and him. Oh, so Dismember. So we are seeing what was likely the contents of Phillip Lorren's hand in the last game, where Ryan Rolen was able to dominate with Jace. He seems to have quite a bit of removal in his deck now.
Yeah, and he forces that Dismember.
Ryan Rolen realizes just how important his Timograph is to his defense here, and fights to keep it alive.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose life in points of 5 here. I mean, sitting only 15 life, you have to force that Dismember. And now Phillip can't attack this turn. And if he doesn't have a third land, that Reedry isn't coming down anytime soon either.
Looks like, I believe there's a Kira in his hand.
There is a Kira in his hand. So he's got Kira and Reedry are 2 cards we know about, on top of 3 other cards that we don't.
So Ryan Rolen only has a single card. We see just how powerful Silver Galadept is here. We were talking about before how it's very difficult to play an attrition game against Merfolk because they have such a low land count and cards to replace themselves. And Ryan Rolen is seeing exactly that. That Force of Will is a card that I saw some people on Twitter suggesting is a card that they generally would want to sideboard out in in this matchup for very much for that reason. It's difficult to try to be able to fight Merfolk when you're trading 2 for 1 because their deck is and that is a Lord of Atlantis.
So Phillip Lorren played Curse Catcher, passed. Ryan Rolen drew Ancient Grudge, just a dead card. Passed back to Phillip, and now he has drawn Lord.
I believe he only has 1 blue source at the moment, however.
Yes, he does have that waste. So there's another Phantasmal Image, though.
Is that going to be another Silver Adept?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Try and find that blue source.
So Phantasmal Image is a fantastic card right here.
Fantastic image. Looks like Ryan Rolen.
Is this like a Fantastic Voyage?
I think he drew a Misstep there.
A Misstep? That's not what he needs right now.
Now, if you're Phillip Lorren, do you just play the Lord and go for it?
Absolutely. I mean, you are just representing lethal here even.
Yep.
9, 10, 11, 12,
I think
13.
Ryan had the bull.
You're representing 13 damage here.
All right, crash in.
Bring you to Ryan Rolen really needs. Is he just picking up his pen? Oh, he has an Ancient Grudge in his hand.
Yep, Ancient Grudge doesn't do anything. He has to draw the Fire Spout right here.
Yeah, he really needs exactly Fire Spout. Red Blast is too late. Red Blast last turn would have let him kill the Lord of Atlantis, but
that's it.
And there it is.
Phillip Lorren advances to the semifinals.
We see Merfolk Takedown Rug on the back of Island Walkers and Phantasmal Images.
Phantasmal Image, a card